Your cat has been sending you signals for months. You just didn't know how to read them. Most people think they're doing everything right, feeding on time, keeping the litter clean, giving cuddles when they feel like it. But there are 14 specific things that quietly stress your cat out every single day, and at least half of them are things you'd never guess. Stick around to the end, because number 11 is the one that surprises every cat owner I've ever talked to. It's the kind of thing that seems like love, but your cat experiences it as the opposite. Let's start with something that flips the whole image of cats upside down. Number 1, being ignored. The classic stereotype says cats are cold, independent, and couldn't care less if you're home or not. That's almost entirely wrong. Most cats want your attention deeply. They just ask for it in a quieter way. Instead of jumping on you and spinning in circles, a cat might press their forehead into your hand, or simply position themselves 3 feet away from you and stare. That's a request. A soft one, but still a request. The issue is when that request goes unanswered, hour after hour. Research on feline stress behavior shows that cats, left without meaningful social interaction for extended periods, develop visible anxiety markers, increased vocalization, compulsive grooming, and appetite changes. Some cats bond so intensely with one person that even a full workday away causes measurable stress responses. The ceiling on solo time is around 8 to 10 hours. Past that, you're not giving your cat space, you're leaving them stranded. Number 2, being physically restrained against their will. There's a specific way some people hold their cats, lifted high overhead, dangling in the air, belly exposed to the whole room. It's meant to be playful. The cat experiences something closer to a threat response. This isn't about that particular pose specifically. It's about the broader principle underneath it. Cats are hardwired to need physical autonomy. The moment they can't move the way they want to, their nervous system reads it as danger. Their heart rate climbs. Their muscles tense. They're not playing along. They're tolerating it. And if you do it repeatedly, you're slowly teaching your cat that being near you sometimes means losing control of their own body. That's not a foundation for trust. That's the exact opposite. Number 3, costumes. This one feels harmless from the outside. You dress them up, take a photo. Everyone online thinks it's adorable. But what's actually happening for the cat in that moment is a cascade of discomfort. The fabric restricts their movement in ways that feel alien to them. Their escape routes are limited. They can't groom themselves normally, which for a cat is genuinely distressing. Grooming is a primary self-regulation tool. And then, on top of all of that, strangers and camera flashes are often part of the same event. If you want a festive look for the holidays, a soft bandana or a themed collar gives you the visual without putting your cat through that whole sequence. Number 4, strangers walking into the territory. Cats are not unfriendly by nature. They're risk assessors. Your home is their domain, and when someone new enters it, your cat's brain immediately begins running a calculation. Are they a threat? Can I trust them? What do they want? Most cats handle this by creating distance first, watching from a doorway, or disappearing entirely until the math checks out. The worst thing a guest can do is walk over and try to pet the cat immediately. That's not friendly from the cat's perspective. That's a stranger closing the gap before permission was given. The rule that actually works is simple. Let the cat decide when contact happens. Crouch down, look away slightly, wait. The cats who seem to hate all visitors often have a history of being approached too fast too many times. If you've ever had your cat bolt the second someone new walked through the door, drop a 1 in the comments right now. I'm curious how many of you are nodding at this one. Number 5, dirty litter boxes. A cat's instinct in the wild is to find a clean, dry, private spot. Use it once and move on. That instinct doesn't disappear just because there's a box in the corner of your bathroom. If that box isn't clean, your cat isn't being difficult when they go somewhere else. They're doing exactly what their biology tells them to do. A box that goes unscooped for even a day can trigger avoidance behavior. And once a cat decides a spot is unacceptable, breaking that habit is a real project. Scoop every single day. Full stop. Some cats are tolerant.
Others have a one-strike policy and will find a corner of your closet to make their point. Number 6, closed doors. On the surface, this seems like a contradiction. Cats value independence, so why would a closed door bother them? Because independence and access to their full territory are two different things. Your cat doesn't want to be in every room. They want to be able to get into every room if they choose. A closed door is a boundary that was placed on their territory without their input. From their perspective, something is happening on the other side that they have no information about. That uncertainty is genuinely uncomfortable for them. And there's a second layer. Cats like to know where the people they're bonded to are located. A closed door removes that information completely. That's why you hear the scratching. It's not stubbornness, it's a specific kind of unease. Number 7. Baths.
Cats are self-cleaning at a level that makes bathing almost entirely unnecessary for most of them. But the reason they hate water goes deeper than just preference. Domestic cats descended from ancestors who lived in arid environments, regions where large bodies of water simply weren't part of daily life. That means no evolutionary pressure to get comfortable with being soaked. When a cat's fur is drenched, it becomes heavy and drags. Their movement changes completely. They can't predict how their own body will respond. And then there's the loss of control again. Being held in water, unable to leave, unable to groom, unable to do anything except wait. For most cats, that's genuinely one of the most unpleasant experiences they can have at home. The exceptions are rare and usually involve cats who were introduced to water very early and in a completely calm setting. Number 8. Strong smells. A cat's nose processes roughly 14 times more scent information than a human's. That sounds impressive, and it is, but it also means that things that smell mildly pleasant to you can be completely overwhelming for your cat. Citrus is one of the most reliably off-putting, so is menthol, eucalyptus, vinegar, and certain artificial lavender products. Gasoline fumes are another one. What's interesting is that this sensitivity also explains why most cats prefer unscented litter. The perfumed varieties that are marketed as fresher are, from the cat's perspective, closer to standing next to a chemical spill. If your cat has started avoiding their litter box and nothing else has changed, check whether you recently switched to a scented product. Now, here's something that connects several of these points in a way most people don't expect. Stay with me for a moment. Number 9. Loud noises. This goes well beyond thunderstorms and arguments. Cats can hear into frequency ranges that humans can't detect at all. That means the hum of a fluorescent light bulb, the buzz of a computer monitor on a certain setting, the faint whine from an old dimmer switch. All of that registers. It's not a background noise for them. It's a constant sound environment that they're filtering and processing at all times. When you add a sudden loud noise on top of that baseline, the jump in stimulation is significant. Some cats learn to live with a noisy household. Others never fully relax in one. If your cat spends most of their time in one specific quiet spot in your home, they've probably already mapped out where the lowest noise load is. Number 10. Cold. Cats are better at tolerating cold than many people assume, but that doesn't mean they enjoy it. The African wildcat, the primary ancestor of modern domestic cats, came from warm, dry regions. That genetic baseline is still running in your cat. They want warmth. They seek it actively. The warm patch of sunlight on the floor, the spot near the radiator, the corner of the couch that catches the afternoon light. Your cat isn't lazy. They're thermoregulating. And if your home runs cold, you'll notice your cat moving through it less, sleeping more, and being harder to engage with interactive play. Warmth isn't a luxury for them. It's part of what makes them feel safe. Number 11. Belly rubs. Here's the one that gets people. Your cat rolls onto their back and shows you their belly. That feels like an invitation, right? It is, but not for what you think. The exposed belly is a gesture of trust. It's your cat saying, "I feel safe enough around you to be vulnerable." The mistake is interpreting it as a request for physical contact in that area. The stomach is where every major organ sits. A cat's nervous system treats that zone as critically protected by instinct.
When you reach for it, even gently, many cats flip instantly from relaxed to defensive, not because they're unpredictable, but because you moved toward the one spot that their biology flags as off-limits without explicit permission. Some cats do allow it. Most prefer you to appreciate the gesture without acting on it. Number 12. Stale food. Cats don't reject food to be difficult. They reject it because something has shifted in its smell profile and their nose caught it immediately. Wet food left in the bowl for more than 2 or 3 hours starts to change at a chemical level, and a cat registers that change before you'd ever notice anything. Opened wet food stored in the refrigerator has a real window of about 24 hours before it starts to decline. Dry food holds longer, but goes stale after a full day of sitting out. If your cat walks up to their bowl, sniffs, and walks away, the answer is almost never that they want something different.
Usually it's that they want the same thing, but fresh. Number 13. Being treated like a dog. This one isn't about the relationship between cats and dogs. It's about misreading what a cat actually needs based on what works with a different species. Dogs are wired to accept structure and physical direction. You clip a leash on a dog and they figure it out within a walk or two. Try that with a cat who hasn't been gradually introduced to a harness over several weeks, in a calm, low-pressure way, with positive association at every step, and you're going to have a very bad afternoon. The same goes for training methods, social interaction expectations, and the amount of physical handling cats are comfortable with. Cats aren't difficult dogs. They're a completely separate type of animal with their own logic, and working with that logic instead of against it changes everything. Number 14. Car rides. The car itself isn't the problem.
It's everything the car represents to a cat in that moment. First, there's the carrier, a space they didn't choose to enter, that they can't leave on their own terms. Then, the vehicle starts moving, and the floor vibrates, and the world outside the window makes no sense. Gasoline fumes seep in, the sounds are unfamiliar, and the destination, in most cases, is a veterinary clinic, a place that smells like stress hormones from dozens of other animals. Cats who seem to go absolutely feral in the car aren't being dramatic. They're responding to a genuine overload of negative inputs with no control mechanism available to them. Cats who tolerate or even enjoy car rides were almost always introduced to the experience gradually, starting with just sitting in the parked car, long before any actual movement happened. Now let's close this properly, because here's what all 14 of these have in common. It's not random. It's not that cats are just difficult or high maintenance. Every single thing on this list comes back to one core thing: control, or rather, the loss of it. When a cat can't predict what's coming, can't remove themselves from something overwhelming, can't regulate their own experience, that's when things go wrong. The cats who seem the most relaxed and social and happy are almost always the ones whose environment gives them choices, a door they can push open, a quiet corner they can retreat to, a person who waits for them to come close. Small things, but to a cat, those small things are everything. If you want to know which of these your cat cares about most, the answer is usually already visible in their daily behavior. You just need to know what to look for. And now you do. If this changed how you're thinking about your cat, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We go deep on cat behavior every week, and there's a lot more to cover. Tell me in the comments, which of these 14 did your cat react to the hardest? One word or one example is enough. I read all of them.